Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is LL3's latest podcast. My name is Craig, and right now I'm at the swampy mangroves of South Florida. And it's a little cloudy, some rain, right after Christmas. And I like to pay homage to all the couriers and postal workers, because today is Boxing Day for many of the people, like in England and Canada, etc. You know where you at, you know who you are, and you need the rest. Cool. Today we're going to be discussing, the episode is called When Soldiers Refuse to Fight. And it's actually from an article that was on the Political Blind Spot. And I just got this on my Facebook, and I thank some of the folks that's putting it out there. So I'm going to narrate the story, give you my little intake. Let's begin. The title is called Nearly a Century Ago on Christmas, Soldiers Refused to Orders to Fight Each Other in World War I. The Christmas ceasefire proposed by Pope Benedict XV was rejected by leaders on all sides of the First World War. Military commanders and politicians alike agreed that such a truce was simply impossible. Nevertheless, Captain Sir Edward Holtz of the Scots Guard recorded the approach of 4 unarmed Germans at 8:30 as the beginning of the Christmas 1914 truce. Holtz went out to meet the soldiers with one of his assigns. What happened next should inspire us all to rethink the need for war. Their spokesman started off by saying that he thought it only right to come over and wish us a happy Christmas, Holtz recounted. Then they said that they trusted us implicitly to keep the truce. The soldier then told us that he came from Suffolk, where he had left his best girl and a 3.5 horsepower motorbike. When Holtz returned from having reported this remarkable occurrence to his commanders, he found that by 10 o'clock, crowds of British and German soldiers had come together, conversing, singing, and even playing games in direct defiance and contradiction to the orders they were given. Holtz didn't mind the truce, but he was concerned that soldiers were openly disobeying orders. He thus sought out German commanders so they could organize an official truce. Meanwhile, Scots and Huns were fraternizing in the most genuine possible manner. Every sort of souvenir was exchanged, dresses given and received, photos of families shown, etc. One of our fellow offered a German a cigarette. The German said, "Virginian." Our fellow said, "Aye, straight cut." The German said, "No thanks, I only smoke Turkish." It gave us all a good laugh. Stanley Weintraub, author of Silent Night, the story of the World War I Christmas truce, described these events as follows. The Germans set tree on a trench parapets and lit the candles. Then they began singing carols, and though their language was unfamiliar to their enemies, the tunes were not. After a few trees were shot at, the British became more curious than belligerent and crawled forward to watch and listen. And after a while they began to sing. By Christmas morning, the no man's land between the trenches was filled with fraternizing soldiers, sharing rations and gifts, singing, and more solemnly burying their dead between the lines. Soon they were playing soccer, mostly with improvised balls. According to the World War Diary of the 133rd Saxon Regiment, Tommy and Fritz kicked about a real football supplied by a Scot. This developed into a regulation football match with caps casually laid as goals. The frozen ground was no great matter. The game ended 3-2 for Fritz. The spontaneous truce, which included French and Belgian troops in some sectors, was more or less over by New Year's Day. However, It was only then that the New York Times reported on the story. What can we take away from this? Peace is possible on Christmas Day. Then it is possible anytime. The spirit and kindness and compassion that so many embodied on this day is something that we all innately know we should put into practice every day of the year. War is over if you want it. Articles by Micah Nazari. And it was very genuine, thoughtful, and honored. One thing a lot of folks got to realize too, soldiers are human beings. They have their emotions, their kindness, and passion. And compassion as well. Excuse me. However, when they do have to take orders to fulfill a mission. But the question I have for everybody is sometimes when the soldiers think, what are they really fighting for? Kio bono, who benefits? Many of us are seeing that right now. The military-industrial complex in which General President Dwight D. Eisenhower warned on his farewell address. He was a streaky man, had his rough edges too, but has a conscience as well. And to all those individuals, such as Henry Kissinger, make that statement saying that soldiers are dumb animals, they'll always be doing as they told, and just paraphrasing, see, men like that are pure scumbags, and I have no shame making that statement. Plus, many of us need to start reading The Grand Chessboard by Zbigniew Brzezinski, because he's another individual I despise too. Very intelligent, very strategic, and try to figure out how to conquer nations through multiple avenues to obtain their natural resources. And look what's been happening now. Spiritual awakenings in progress. Many people are questioning about these wars. A lot of us on September of this year petitioned to all those our elected servants on the Syrian conflict and said, no way in hell you're going to put the United States involved. My statement was to them, if you want this war, if you support it, go on the front line. Not your children, but you, my elected servants. And that's really it, my friends. I know this is a pretty short episode, but I have to say I really touched by this. And I have no songs to play because I had a little technical difficulties earlier. It's like my fourth attempt to get this down right. So I had to wing it. But you know what? It's all worth it. So, like I said, I will post this link on my Spreaker account. Plus, you can make your comments, middle fingers, criticisms on my Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Spreaker. It's all out there. So, yeah, that's all I have to say. Just spread this message, and I thank you for your time to listen. You take care of yourselves. Positive blessings to all.